Price hikes from the pump to your kitchen. You're looking at some of the biggest price hikes in 4 decades. Inflation jumped by 7% in 2021. That type of rise hasn't happened since 1982. And we've seen the impacts in the Bay Area. Our local food banks now feeding double the families it did before the pandemic began. 10 Tampa Bay's Miranda Parnell spoke to an economist who says inflation is here to stay for a while.
What do you get when you mix a global health pandemic, supply chain issues, and an unstable workforce? Inflation.
Certainly seeing rising prices at the grocery stores. Pump prices quite high right now.
The Labor Department announced Wednesday that in 2021, inflation rates increased more than they have since the 80s. We asked finance professor Tom Smythe, who's going to feel these extra expenses the most?
Without question, folks at the lower end of the income spectrum.
And groups like Feeding Tampa Bay are already prepared to see the impact of the rising costs.
And that really hits families hard, right? So when gas, rent, or food are more expensive, it drives families to organizations like Feeding Tampa Bay.
The other group Smythe mentions may surprise you and make you dust off your resume.
Anybody that has had a job, fortunately, throughout the pandemic, and is not changing jobs. We're seeing people quit and change jobs at the fastest pace since they started keeping statistics on it roughly 20 years ago. Those people are getting higher paying jobs. So in the grand scheme of things, they are going to be less affected by the inflation relative to someone who's staying at a job and not getting a pay raise, or certainly not getting a pay raise that keeps pace with inflation.
Smythe says it's hard to estimate just how long this could last, but he says it will probably be summer at the earliest before our pockets start to see some relief. And he has one tip for all of us to keep prices from going up even more. Don't hoard.
It creates a false sense of demand, which can ultimately lead to higher prices. That's the worst thing that we can do.
The Labor Department says cars, gas, food, and furniture had the highest rates of inflation over the last year. So let's take a deeper dive into those categories. At the store, meats, poultry, fish, and eggs rose 12.5% over the last year. As far as buying a car, used cars and trucks were the biggest culprit with a 37.3% rise, and new cars rose by 11.8%. Now at the pump, gas rose by 49.6%. In your home, household furnishings and supplies grew by 7.4%.